Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingrid Jones, and I have back on the show Bayloric regular Uncle James Ali Bashir. Uncle, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
First question is, did you see the boxing last night?
Oh yeah, certainly. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a boxing teacher, but I'm a boxing fan.
Okay. In particular, the heavyweights?
What heavyweights?
Dillian Whyte and Dave Allen, both fighters that you know that have been in the Klitschko camp.
That was a fight? I didn't know that was a fight. I could have thought those guys was wrestling and doing the waltz out there. I don't know what that was. Both guys are better than that, and they didn't show up to fight. They did not show up to fight. Dillian talking about he's trying to box and. No, you don't make it. You don't decide what you're going to do. Your trainers decide what you're going to do, and I'm sure they wanted him to execute a KO to stop Dave Allen. Dave didn't seem enthusiastic. He didn't seem like he was really enthusiastic about winning the fight.
Okay.
It was a terrible showing by both guys, I think.
Okay. How much can we look into the fact that Dave has only had 10 amateur fights and this was his 10th or 11th pro fight?
That means nothing to me. I mean, you got Tim Witherspoon that boxed with Larry Holmes in his 13th or 14th pro fight. The great Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was in the prime of his career, and Tim Witherspoon went out there and fought Larry Holmes and gave him a life and death struggle in a 15-round fight. And Tim Witherspoon didn't have no amateur career at all. So I don't put no emphasis on that. If you accept the task, you understand? If you accept the task, then you must be up to par to fulfill the task that you accepted. So no, I can't show any sympathy for Dave. I'm sure that boxers go through a lot of stuff. But I'm just being critical from a analyst point of view. Both guys didn't seem to be enthusiastic about winning the fight. And if they think they're going to go to the gate, if they think they're going to go to the top of the heavyweight division in that fashion, they can forget it. They might as well go get a job.
I hear the term thrown around a lot recently. I had no choice. If they either fight me now or they don't get to fight me at all. That's the term I'm hearing a lot recently. Not just with the Dave Allen fight, but with many other fights and fighters. Oh, I've got to take this opportunity. It won't come around again. So people are making decisions based maybe on money.
Nonsense. What fighters got to understand is that they build their career with each fight. A fight that the opportunity this one opportunity comes now or never come again. A fighter can't believe like that. A fighter has got to be confident in his work ethic and what he retains in his own brain. He's got to believe in himself, I mean, these are some young guys. These guys, what do you mean an opportunity is never going to come again? Who says opportunity is never coming again? These are young men. These guys got years to make headway, But you have to take advantage of each given opportunity. Has to be taken advantage of.
Okay, so
you can't take any opportunity, any given opportunity. I don't care if there's 5 people in the audience. It's still a pro fight. It still goes on your record. You got to go out there and do the very best you can each and every time because each step that you take is a step towards the championship. In my mind, that's what I tell the fighters that I train. Every fight is for the championship of the world. Is a step towards that championship. And you've got to be up to par. No matter how many people's in the audience. If there's 10 people in the audience, so be it. It still goes on the record. In a training camp, you prepare yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, and you go in there and you execute what the trainers are asking you to do. What the trainers are asking you to do. If you can't fulfill what the trainers are asking you to do, give it the best effort that you can.
So, okay.
Because those are the people you chose for your corner.
Let's break down Dillian Whyte's performance first and foremost. The favourite going into the fight. His he's on rehabilitation. His shoulder, the shoulder injury, coming back from that. He had the first fight against Baccarin, of course. Famously known for rocking Anthony Joshua and then getting beat in the end by Joshua, putting up a great fight. So Dillian Whyte on the comeback, the rehabilitation as he calls it. He said that he just wanted to box. He started the fight boxing southpaw, showed box southpaw, orthodox, put his punches together, did the whole 10 rounds at a decent pace, throwing lots of punches. His stamina looked to hold up pretty well, because before there were question marks about his stamina. Put a lot of punches out. I was expecting him from round 6 to start gassing. He didn't. I thought those things were quite impressive. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that him going the distance is a plus.
Okay.
Okay. Him going the distance is a plus. But my thinking is you go the distance in the gym. You knock the guy out when you get the opportunity to knock him out. You want to go the distance in the gym. Get 3 or 4 good sparring partners, throw some money, take care of them, put them up in a hotel if you have to, and you get all that sparring, do all that stuff in the gym. But in the fight, for the record, you go out there and take the guy out. If you get an opportunity to take him out, which I thought he had a couple opportunities to take him out, and he didn't take him out. I can't work with the guys. I don't know whether his corner was involved in his strategy or whether Dillian took it upon himself to do that. But the corner, the trainer is the one that runs that corner. And my thinking is that, no, Dillian, we're going to execute. We're going to knock Dave out. We're going to stop him. We're going to stop him. That's my thinking. That we want to stop him and move on to the next building. But the fact that he went to 10 rounds at a pretty furious pace, that I'm critical anyway. I'm critical because I know that Dillian is better than that. I know that he's better than that. I've seen him, and actually he's better than that. So that's why I'm critical. I'm being critical of his potential.
But while you're being critical, are you not going to give credit to Dave Allen for being durable and very durable?
Say that again. There's some interruption.
While you're being critical of Dillian Whyte, is it quite possible that Dave Allen is durable?
Move back from the computer.
Okay.
Move back.
Here?
Every time you come forward, yes.
Okay.
Okay, now say it.
Is it possible that you're giving criticism to Dillian Whyte about not stopping Dave Allen, but on the same sense, Dave Allen is a very durable fighter?
Dave is a durable fighter, but Dave wasn't up to par. Dillian should have taken him out. Yeah, Dave is a durable fighter. I'm being critical of both of them.
Yeah, but having a great chin, in the heavyweight division must give you a plus. I mean, Oliver McGuigan had a great chin. Ray Mercer had a great chin. Oliver McGuigan wasn't a great fighter.
You understand? You know where I'm coming from?
Okay.
I'm pushing these guys to new heights. I'm looking at it as though I was their trainers that night.
Right.
Every time they came in that corner, say, listen, you're better than this. You're better than what you're showing. I don't care if that was their very best for that night. I don't care. I'm saying that I've seen each guy better. So I'm pushing them to new heights. Go out there and finish this fight. Go out there and finish. I'm pushing this guy to new heights. All right? So Dave's got a good chin. He's got this good. He's got that good. But that's all it is good. I'm telling Dillian, you're great. Go get this guy out of there. Push him to get out. Push him to look for it. Push him to create a knockout. Find a way to make a knockout. Get a knockout. I thought they both could have been better.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I maintain that.
Let's break it down. So you're saying Dillian should have gone for the knockout. Where could Dave have improved, and what would you have done if you were training Dave? Where would you have got him to be improving, or where would you say from this point onwards, what does he work on?
He got to work on building a format to get KOs. He got to work on a format where it says that I'm going to double my jabs. I'm going to repeatedly double my jab, and then I'm going to hook off the jab. I'm going to feint a little more. He wasn't doing those things. You know, he wasn't doing the things that he's capable of doing. There are a lot of ways to get the knockout. You can get the knockout from frustration. You can get the knockout from being elusive. You can get the knockout by just with a jab. Larry Holmes got a lot of his knockout with just a jab. The guy would just get frustrated and say, you know what, I'm going home. Give me my lunchbox, I'm going home. You know, so the knockout comes a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that Dave needs help. Dave needs help. All right? I saw a lot of things that he could have did that I won't make mention to now. Because I'm not here to train trainers. I'm here to train boxers. But Dave needs help, all right? He needs help with his whole repertoire. I wasn't attracted to the way he fought at all.
What about Dillian Whyte's style?
Dillian Whyte's style is Dillian Whyte's style. You know, I told Dillian years ago that there's some things that I would change if I was training him. There's some things that I would train if I was training him. Like I said, I'm here to train boxers and not train trainers. But looking at them, it left much to be desired in my mind.
Okay.
And I'm saying that affectionately. I'm saying that respectfully, because some people think that I'm criticizing, too critical of boxers. But I'm saying that affectionately, you know, as though I were their trainers. There's some things that I would change, some things that I would work on with both guys more than what they're working on right now themselves.
Now, so in terms of Dave moving forward in his career, what would you suggest in terms of level of opponents and where he goes from now?
Well, I wouldn't fight either guy down. I wouldn't fight either guy down. That's why I say I like these guys from Britain, because they're stepping up. You know, these guys are stepping up. You know, so I wouldn't fight either guy down. You know, Dave took a big bite off the apple by fighting Dillian, because Dillian is an aggressive guy. Even though Joshua is his biggest fight, Dillian's a big guy. You know, he's a big guy in terms that he talks a lot and he tries to go out and back it up. So I think him facing off with a guy that puts so much social and mental pressure on him, there's no way to go for David but up. I wouldn't take it. I look for fights comparable to his style or just above his style. But I wouldn't fight him down. I wouldn't go back to fighting club fights, that's for sure. We'd fight up.
He fights again in September, Dave. He returns in September.
Dave?
Yes.
Smart. Very smart. Very smart move. That's a very smart move. That's a plus for him.
Why?
His
management.
Dillian should do the same thing. Dillian should do the same thing.
His management
didn't. The more they fight, the sharper they're going to get.
His management didn't want him back in that fight with Dillian Whyte. His management didn't want him. His manager didn't want him to fight Dillian Whyte, and this is a guy that's managed quite a few fighters on to becoming world champion. So
why was the fight made?
Because Dave Allen got onto Twitter and basically was called. He wanted to test himself, so he wanted to take that fight. So it was a Dave Allen decision to fight Dillian Whyte.
Well, my thinking is, you know, I've worked with a few guys, and I think that the trainers and the management has got to have some respectful input with the boxers, and the boxers got to be stable enough and respectful enough to say, okay, I'll listen, I'll hear your case out. If the management didn't want to do it, Dave shouldn't have did it. You know, because these people are watching out for you as well as watching out for themselves. You know, you can't get so gung-ho that you go past those stop signs saying, I'm going to do it anyway. Because these people have been around longer than you have, and you need to observe what's being said to you and act accordingly.
The flip side of all this now is there's a bright future for Dave Allen. People have seen what he can do now and think that he can go ahead and do many things now moving forward. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he's a young guy. He's willing. You know, he's a young guy. He's willing, and he has the ability to do those things. Yeah, so I see him having a pretty bright future too.
Dillian Whyte's next.
But I do, in all my criticism, I do respectfully applaud both guys for stepping up and taking that chance and taking that fight.
Okay.
Just as I did Dillian and Joshua. They didn't have to take those fights. In America, those fights wouldn't happen so soon. Because everybody in America is trying to stay safe. Everybody wants to protect their own. But looking back on yesteryear, you know, when you look back at, you know, Ernest Shavers, Kenny Norton, Jimmy Young, Ron Lau, Jerry Quarry, those guys were crisscrossing boxing. They were always fighting each other. And that's why they became such good fighters, because they were always in the fire. They didn't shy away from fighting each other. You always saw those guys mixing it up, fighting each other, opposing each other. And that's what made them good fighters. You can't become a good fighter trying to stay safe. This is the sport of boxing, the hurt business. You can't afford to play that game where you're going to fight 5 guys that work for the post office and then come up and fight a big fight. You know, no, you got to get the fans to respect who you are and what you're doing. You've got to be out there fighting the fights that make the difference.
So Dillian Whyte, his next fight or the fight after could be against Derek Chisora. How do you see that fight?
I wouldn't suggest, from what I saw last night, that he fight Derek Chisora now. I think Dillian needs at least 2 more fights comparable to Dave Allen or just above Dave Allen. He needs 2 more fights. Right now, I feel that Derek Chisora would beat him.
Why?
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say why. You know, because I'd be going against Derek, or either I'd be, you know, alerting Dillian. So that's none of my business. But I think that he would, Derek Chisora would beat him if he fought him the way he fought last night. Derek would beat him. That's my feeling. Dillian might have something to say about that, but I feel that Derek would beat him. I think that Dillian needs 2 more fights to get his game together, to be more enthusiastic about what he's doing. He went 10 rounds last night. Go back out there and try to get, you know, two KOs or something. 2 KOs and press the action you'll get. When I say KOs, I mean KOs inside of 5, 6 rounds. And really step on the gas. Really test your lungs. Really test your ability with comparable fighters. Not guys that you can walk over, guys that's going to fight back.
Okay. Fair enough. More news. Last night in New York, Shannon Briggs, Let's Go Champ, was in the building for Frampton and Santa Cruz. But also in the building was David the Haymaker Haye. Shannon Briggs was in the building and he spotted David Haye, and it looked virtually like David Haye was running from Shannon Briggs. Your thoughts?
That's neither here or there with me, you know. I mean, it's show business, you know. I don't think David Haye is running from Shannon Briggs, and I think Shannon Briggs really wants to fight David Haye. I heard some rumors that the fight may not happen.
That's what I'm hearing.
You know?
I'm hearing that David Haye may be getting a shot at the WBA title
against Tressa Kendall.
That's
and
right.
Which is a smart move. I wouldn't fight Shannon Briggs either if I had a shot at the WBA. Why take that kind of chance? But if he secures that belt, I think that it's in line that he comes back and fight Shannon, even though he may not. I think it's in line that he comes back and settle his unfinished business with Shannon Briggs.
Okay. Fair enough.
Boxing needs exciting fights. To save the sport, we need, with the bad decisions that goes around boxing so often, boxing needs exciting fights to help the fans get past the bad decisions. You know, I thought the Frampton fight last night was a fair decision. He won the fight. In my mind, he won the fight.
What do you think of the fight?
He won the fight. I thought that's the fight of the year so far. I thought that was the fight of the year because there was boxing in between there. There wasn't a lot of wrestling. There was boxing. I saw those guys thinking. You know? I saw those guys thinking. I saw Frampton step back, half step back, throw a left hook, you know, then jab right hand down the middle. You know, both guys were thinking. Both guys kept coming back. You know, both guys kept coming back, showing expertise instead of just grabbing and holding and loading up on punches, trying to get each other out of there. I saw boxing.
Would that have been more of a fight of the year than Thurman Porter?
Santa Cruz was in there. He was rumbling. And the guy that scored the fight so far apart, one guy had it, what, 117, 111 or something. I'm trying to figure out what seat was he sitting in, the judge that was scoring that.
I was wondering.
And 117, I mean, what's fight?
What about
Did he have
115,
something in his drink or
113?
something?
115, 113?
115, 113?
Yes.
Was pretty good.
I think that's what I thought. 115,
115, 113?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I said to somebody on the phone, 114, 113.
Okay.
And then the guy said 115, 113. I said 114, 113, you know, Frampton. And then the guy said 115, 113. I said, no, that's all right. That's all right. Because I thought Frampton was a little more accurate with his punches. I thought that he was a little more accurate with his punches. I think Santa Cruz didn't do enough boxing. He was trying to slug too much, getting too close with his shots, causing just too wide with his shot. Frampton was going down the middle. Santa Cruz was looping his punches, and it was going around Frampton's head and his neck and so on. But it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I appreciated the effort from both men.
How do you think a Gary Russell Jr. would do with a Carl Frampton?
Gary Russell Jr. seems to be the cream of the crop in that division right now. In my mind, he's the cream of the crop in that division right now. I think Gary Russell's speed would dominate that fight.
Now, I thought that Frampton...
He's so quick.
I thought Frampton would be overpowered or overwhelmed by Santa Cruz, but that fight showed a different dimension to Frampton altogether.
Yeah, it certainly did. I thought that Santa Cruz was going to put so much pressure on him that it was going to wear Frampton out. I thought that he was going to get tired carrying the extra weight.
Yep.
And that he would dominate in those late rounds, but that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
I saw a lot of poise. I was very proud of this young man because I saw a lot of poise, a lot of finesse out there. He didn't get wild. He didn't get crazy. He maintained the professional posture throughout. And I liked it. I appreciate it.
I was critical of his trainer, Shane McGuigan, but last night I tipped my hat and said, you know what? I was very impressed with his trainer last night. The way he was telling Frampton to up and down and give different looks. That was what threw Santa Cruz off.
Well, that's what I say. That's what I say. When you're looking at trainers, you got to look at expertise. We only know about what the press and the media pushes on us. Mm-hmm. You know, if ain't Teddy Atlas, is Freddie Roach. You know what I'm saying? But nobody ever says nothing about John David Jackson. Nobody says nothing about Najee Richardson. You know, these other guys that's out there. The other guys that's doing the trainer for Crawford. You got to take a look at these guys because when you see success in the fighter, it's only happening because of the people around them. You have to take a look at those guys and just take a look at them. Because if Crawford is being that successful, who's training him?
That's a very valid point. Who is training him?
Earl Spence. You got to start looking at the trainers. Who's training them? Who's the teacher? Because the fighter is being successful, but those guys are not being successful by themselves. They're being guided by other people. They're being guided. When you see these guys out there, John David Jackson, Nazim Richardson, Virgil Hunter, you gotta give respect and credit where credit is due when they're producing these winning fighters. These guys are winning. And it's not happening because the fighter is doing it by himself. The fighter has enough faith, enough confidence in the guys that's training them. So give the guys credit.
Okay.
Help them along. Help them along. You're helping. I think Freddie Roach is the 8-time trainer of the year. And he's working with guys that's already made. He's not building nobody. He's not showing nobody how to step, how to think, how to deke, how to get in, how to get out. He's not doing that here. These guys are already made, and they dominate the sport. Every time I go onto some websites, the only thing I saw was what Freddie Roach said, what Freddie Roach said, what Teddy Atlas said, what Teddy Atlas said. It's like they're the only guys out there that's working. And there are other people who are working. There are other people who deserve credit. Those guys cannot train the entirety of boxing. They make it look like these guys are the kings and princes of boxing and everybody else is just a subject. And it's not right. It's not right. There are other people out there that are working, that are pretty good at what they're doing. Not great, but good at what they're doing. Good at what they're doing.
Now the next question is, and it's still...
the other kid of Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, Javen Hill,
yes.
He's out there working with Adonis Stevenson. You got to look at the fighter and wonder what's keeping this guy up. What's keeping this guy up? So you got to start giving those guys some respect. You got to give those guys some credit for what's happening with the fighters. It's the people around them that keep these guys afloat. I learned so much by being in these camps over the years. The Matthew Sa Muhammad camp, the Muhammad Ali camp, the Vladimir Klitschko camp, the Tim Witherspoon. I learned so much because it takes groups of people sometimes to keep a guy straight, to keep a guy balanced, emotionally balanced. That emotions play so much into a fight. And sometimes it takes 10, 11 people. And people don't pay no attention to that. And it's headed up by one trainer. One trainer. One voice should be heard in that call. And so far, they're doing good with these guys. Kovalev and Ward and Adonis Stevens. These guys are consistent. I thought that kid, I don't know what went on in that kid's corner, but I thought that if the kid if somebody had called him back in the corner and said, wait a minute, just calm down, you're a little too excited, you understand, you're making faces and you're gyrating out there, you don't need to do that. All you need to do is stay focused on the fight and box. We can win this fight. I thought that kid could have beat Adonis Stevenson. But he kept getting in fights with him. And I said, that's not the way to go. You can't get in a fight with Adonis Stevenson. Sooner or later he's going to catch you. And this guy punches extremely hard for a light heavyweight. He's punching like a mule. Because when he hits somebody with that left hand, he gets results like I haven't seen in a long time. When he hits people with that left hand, they go down and they don't move. All right? So, yeah, you got to give this guy, Adonis Stevenson got a powerful punch. He's a left hand. He's primarily a left-handed puncher. But when he hits up with that left hand, it's like somebody hit you with a sledgehammer. These guys go down and they got paralysis. They don't move. So yeah, you got to respect that. But if that kid has showed more, it's 10 years difference. The youth is on your side. Box. A little slugging, a little boxing. He was mixing his punches up nice and he was landing. And he was confusing Adonis a little bit. He was getting in with short, nice crisp combinations and moving off to the sides. And it was confusing him. But then he got a little too happy, trading too much,
Greedy.
and then you get hit with it. Yeah. The corner said, "Just be cool." I never, as different things he could have did that would have carried to a close decision or something in that fight. But I knew when he kept engaging, I said, sooner or later,
You're gonna get caught.
Sooner or later, you're gonna drop the elevator on you. You got to get out of there. He kept engaging too much. His chin all down the end of the way. I said, man, when that thing come fast, you ain't gonna like it, you know. And that's what happened.
Tony Harrison, the return of Tony Harrison. I'm gonna say something. Did you see him fight last night?
Yes, I totally fight.
Okay, I'm gonna put down my analysis. I'm gonna hear what you think of it. I thought that Tony Harrison looked as if he'd had words with either the Mayweather gym or the Mayweathers, or he'd been studying Floyd Mayweather. 3 reasons. Reason number 1, the straight right hand. Reason number 2, the check left hook. And reason number 3 was being off the back foot. No. Reason number 3, off the back foot. He had a lot of his back foot was like Mayweather does, pivoting and pushing off that back foot. 4, the last thing I noticed was the way he was using the jab to the body, breaking his opponent down with straight right hands, a jab, straight right hand. So those are the 4 things I noticed about Tony Harrison last night. Your thoughts?
I told you a long time ago that Tony Harrison would be the second coming of Tommy Hearns. He hasn't reached that point yet, but he's a scientist. This kid is a scientist. I've been around him a long time. You know, I've been all overseas with him a lot. You know, I've worked the corner or worked with him in the training camp at Vladimir Klitschko on 5 or 6 different occasions. I've been around since he's a young kid. You know, I'm going back to the days he's with Emmanuel. And this kid didn't have to necessarily talk to the Mayweather gym. This kid is a scientist. This kid is a student of the game. When I say a student of the game, he's always looking for ways to make himself better. You know, to make himself better. And I think that's going to come to fruition in the fights that's ahead of him. I don't think that it was so much of a Mayweather thing. He might have observed something. I'm sure he does, because, like I said, he's a student of the game.
But his movement,
but he will.
His movement, his hand, the way he was holding his hands, it was all Mayweather-like. The way he was throwing the right hand. He was starting off with the right hand.
I'm not going to dismiss it. I'll just tell you what I know about him. He's a student of the game, and he's always exploring the boxing. He looks at the old timers. You understand? He's got old time teachers. You know, his father, his uncle, and those are old timers. His grandfather, those are old timers.
What's he like as a person? And a person to train, because I know you've worked with him in camp a lot.
He's a likable guy. I like him a lot, you know. Like I said, I've been around him a long time. I like him a lot. He's affable, you know. I like him. I have a lot of fun with him.
And in terms of him,
a lot of laughter, a lot of jokes.
Soaking up information from when you've been working with him.
He listens. He listens. He has a good ear for boxing. He listens. I can pull him to the side. I'll tell him something, and he'll listen, you know. I'm telling you, I've worked with him a lot in the Crop Gym days. You know, I've worked with him a lot. Pad work and different things like that. We've worked together a lot. We know each other well.
Okay.
That was a good sneak right hand he hit that kid with.
He was throwing it all night, but he just seemed like he put something on it. He put something nice on that one.
It didn't look like he just set it up, and it looked real relaxed when he threw it.
I think he put something more on it though. It was relaxed, but he put a little bit more on it.
Obviously, there was something on it, but it didn't. Yeah. It looked relaxed. It looked a dead weight punch. It was a sneak right hand, right down the middle, and a stunning kid. You know.
Your thoughts on him becoming a world champion? The Charlo brothers, Andrade, Canelo. Where does he fit?
He'll be ready. He'll be ready when he goes into that fight. He'll be ready. He'll be ready for any one of those guys. He'll be ready. I know Tony Harrison is going to put 101% into it. He'll be ready when he steps in that ring against anybody. I know Tony Harrison. He's coming to fight. He's coming to fight.
Should we look into anything with the Willie Nelson fight, or does that Willie Nelson fight be in the making of him?
Ah, I dismissed the Nelson fight that Tony took too much for granted in that fight and got caught, got knocked out.
Okay.
You know, he had to fight one. He had to fight one. All he had to do was just stay back and box. He'd have won the fight on decision. But him trying to make the fight exciting, got caught. Nelson caught him. End of story. He got caught. Hopefully he learned a lesson from it. It won't happen again. I saw a poised professional out there last night. A lot of jab, a lot of movement, slick movement. He didn't waste nothing. That's the kind of boxing that I can appreciate. You understand? The crowd stopped booing and then snap, but the crowd's not in there taking those punches.
Exactly.
He did what he had to do. He did what he had to do. He broke the guy down nicely, snuck him right hand in there, got him out of there. I like what he did. You know, that's boxing to me.
Okay. The return of Mikey Garcia. I personally wasn't overly impressed in his comeback. I thought he took too many straight right hands. And he knocked the guy down about 4 or 5 times. And the guy was from a lower weight division. I'm thinking to myself, they're comparing his punch power to Gennady Golovkin. I'm like, no. The guy can punch. Surely he's heavy-handed. But if he was the punch that everyone says he was, he would have wiped that guy out with them clean shots he was hitting with.
Well, I think we need about 2 or 3 more fights with better fighters to really see where Mikey is. Mikey is undoubtedly a good fighter.
Absolutely.
But we have to see him in 2, maybe 3 more fights to find out where he belongs. At 35, he's fighting, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he 35?
No, that was Junior Walker.
Yeah,
I think that was Junior Walker he was fighting.
Yeah. But he's gonna move back. I think he's moving down.
35.
Yeah, he's gonna move down to fight. I think lightweight. He's gonna fight out.
I'd like to see him in Crawford. That would be a great fight.
Would be a great fight.
That'd be a great fight.
They fought before in the amateurs, I believe. And I believe, if I'm right, Crawford beat Mikey Garcia in the amateurs.
I'd like to see it again.
Or was it Danny Garcia?
I'd like to see. Huh?
Or was it Danny Garcia? No, Crawford beat Danny Garcia. He beat Danny Garcia in 1 fight, and Danny Garcia got 2 decisions. So it was 2-1. In the amateurs, not Mikey Garcia.
I'd like to see him.
You'd like to see it. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
Next question, and one that's still on my is the rematch, Klitschko v Fury. I didn't get to ask you the last time, but I need to ask you about this drug allegation that's been put on the Furys. And is Klitschko in camp preparing for the October 29th fight?
As far as I know, no, the camp has not started yet. I think that he's doing wind sprints and things like that there, but the camp has not started officially yet.
When would the camp start?
The camp will start in 7 days. 7 days. 7 days from now to start.
Okay. Is this fight going to go ahead?
Is one fight going to go ahead?
Fury, Klitschko 2.
Sit back as we lean forward. It seems to mess up the communication. Yeah. I think that the fight is going to go forth. I'm pretty sure it will. October 29th.
We're hearing nothing in the UK about it. It's gone very quiet. The promotion side of things is very quiet as well. I'm hearing other rumours that the fight may end up back in Germany.
As far as I'm concerned, the fight is on the 29th October.
In Germany or in the UK?
UK, Manchester.
I heard it's in Germany. It might be. What's the name? Bonte has got 2 provisional stadiums in Germany set. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. As far as I know, it's Manchester, England for the 29th of October. That's all that I know. That's all that I know. It's Manchester, England, 29 October.
And Klitschko's going in, starts back camp next week.
Yes.
So that will take us for August, September, October. So that's 2.5 months, really?
Yeah, but it's a slow climb to conditioning. This is the way. I mean, Vladimir is an extremist. He wants to have everything just right. He wants to take his time doing so.
But he had been from stories I've heard.
He wants to take his time doing so.
He'd been training since January.
And I thought, this.
He'd been training since January.
He took a little time off after the cancellation. He took some time off. Now he's going to start building up now. He doesn't want to leave any stone unturned, so he's going to start now.
Okay, and you think the fight will go ahead? You've heard nothing otherwise, and it's for all it's for the belts.
No, I've heard nothing otherwise.
And what about this drug allegation of Fury?
Yeah. It's neither here or there because nobody's heard anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. And there's nothing in the media about it. I think as much as to do about nothing. I think the fight will go on.
Okay, well,
I think the fight will go on. I don't think Tyson is using drugs. I'd be surprised if he did, but I don't think he's using drugs.
Because he's now saying he will sue the drug commission. He's going to sue them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, he should if he didn't do nothing and somebody's accused him of doing something, he has the right to sue him.
Well,
I would do the same thing.
Not only he's been accused, but Huey's been accused of drugs, of PEDs as well. So that's not a nice thing.
No, it's not a nice thing.
Okay. So, as far as boxing fans can be concerned, the fight is going to
I'd like to see Huey Fury and Jarrell Miller fight. That would be an entertaining
What
fight.
about Dillian Whyte versus Baby Miller?
That would be a really, really good fight. I would love to see that fight. Dillian Whyte and Jarrell Miller, I would love to see that fight. That would be a very, very good fight. I would love to see that fight.
I'm hearing the other story that Tarver is being a potential opponent for Dillian Whyte. I don't think that's a good fight for Dillian personally, but because Tarver's a mover and a messer. I don't think those fighters do well. Dillian.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good fight for him either.
Pardon?
I don't think it's a good fight for him either.
Why is that?
Tarver's too tricky. Tarver's a tricky guy. Really tricky. It's sort of like David Haye. Very tricky guy. They land those big punches and they can cause problems. So I'd stay away from a fight like that there.
Who would you pick in terms of Tarver and Dillian Whyte if they were to fight in a couple of months? Say September.
Tarver. Yeah, Tarver by unanimous decision.
So you don't think Dillian can knock him out?
No. Nobody's gonna knock out Antonio Tarver. Just like Bernard Hopkins. You're not knocking those guys out.
Why is that?
Those guys are masters of disguise. They slip, slide, stay to the side and all that greasy kid stuff. They don't get hit. You don't land those kind of punches on them. And the harder you try, the less likely you are to knock them out. They don't get knocked out. I tell you, these guys are masters. These guys are old school fighters. They've been around forever. They know all of the tricks on how to survive out there. How to survive out there. And land some big punches of their own.
Okay.